The honourable member for Huon.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'm well aware that the time to speak on special interest matters is usually reserved to, celebrate a new accomplishment in our community, something that has been achieved, somebody who has received an outstanding award, developments that reflect how communities have advanced and progressed. If we just heard, from the member for Hobart and from the member for Murchison. Sometimes, but not often enough, we acknowledge something that has been missing in our community. And sometimes, and today, I would like to acknowledge a special person my community in the Huon Valley has lost. Dr. Richard Banks Geeves, or Dick, as we in the Huon knew him, was one of the finest human beings I've ever come across. A generous, kind, and witty medical doctor and GP, an iconic and quirky Huon resident I had the privilege to call my friend and role model. Dick passed away on July 18th this year after a brief illness at the age of 95. Dick was born in Port Kembla in December 1924, and although he spent much of his life in New South Wales, his roots were firmly in Tasmania and, of course, in the beautiful Huon Valley. His great-grandfather was a pioneer of Geeveston, the place of many childhood memories and happy holidays. In his later years, Dick would return to Hartsview, the home that his great-grandfather built to enjoy his retirement. In his early years, he was somewhat of a sportsman, a reasonable footballer, a better cricketer, a sailor, and an excellent rower. But he was also prone to injury. He broke a bone pretty much each and every season. Prior to that, he was a Wolf Cub. This, of all his youthful activities, set him on a lifetime path to supporting Scouts Australia, New South Wales, and Tasmania. Dick always wanted to become a GP, as his father was actually before him. Poor school results and World War II were some obstacles to his goal. Yet, he did obtain his medical degree and shortly after met his wife, Barbara. He said later, "I remember I sold my beloved 150cc Villiers motorbike to buy the engagement ring. But it was well worth it. Barbara was a cracker." In 1954, Dick started to work at his father's general practice. As a young GP, he admits to learning many lessons, including an acute overhaul of his listening skills. There are many funny stories. By 1960, Dick became interested in helping to establish the University of New South Wales Medical School. And in 1968, he assisted with the development of the Royal Australian College of General Practitioners Fellowship examination. The RACGP, recognizing his passion for education and love of general practice, invited him to undertake the role of Censor in New South Wales and later National Censor-in-Chief. In 1974, Dick left general practice to take the position of regional geriatrician at the Hornsby Hospital and to set up a geriatric and rehabilitation service. This area of medicine was to become his most rewarding work. In 1989, Hammond Care opened a dementia daycare service in Sydney in response to recommendations and pioneering work of Dr. Dick Geeves. He had become a respected force in geriatrics in aged care. In recognition of his work, he received an Order of Australia for providing services to older people in the community. In 1989, Dick retired and the following year returned with his wife to Tasmania. Barbara sadly passed away in 2002. Dick had an illustrious professional career as a GP, geriatrician, anaesthetist, obstetrician, academic, medical educator, and researcher. However, alongside medicine, Dick also raised 5 sons with his wife Barbara, was actively involved in the Australian Army Reserves, retiring with the rank of Lieutenant Colonel, was a World Ambassador of Rotary for more than 30 years, and he received Life Fellowship of the RACGP in 2002. In retirement, he dabbled in composing, acting and writing and learned cabinet making. He was an active board member of the Forest and Heritage Centre in Geeveston and an active supporter of the Green Jacket Volunteer Forest movement. In 2001, Dick was awarded the Centenary Medal for his services to the Huon Valley. In 2008, he was named Huon Valley Citizen of the Year. In the same year, he transformed an old Geeveston residence into a medical centre that's played an enormous role in supporting good health in our community. Dick had a big heart. I will never forget his generosity and his humor. When I arrived in the Huon Valley in 2008 and started to practice the GP, he sent me an unexpected and very kind welcome letter. I'd receive a letter pretty much every 6 months since. Handwritten and hand-delivered. I miss his pearls of wisdom, I will miss his wit, and I will miss his insights. A true Huon Valley treasure. Vale Dr. Dick Geeves.
Yeah.